Severine motioned Monique to follow her. They both tiptoed down the stairs and crept into the day room. There Monique saw the rug pulled back and what looked like a door in the floor. Severine pulled up the door and they both climbed down a very narrow set of stairs into a part of the cellar that Monique didn't even know existed. The walls were scraped clean, and there was a small table with a tiny tray and supper dishes on it. Monique could see another small room with cots. It looked like people were sleeping on them. "My mother and father and I have been here for a very long time," Severine whispered. "We are being hunted by the Nazis, you know. We are Jews. There are many of us hiding all over France." "But how have you stayed here without my maman knowing?" "Oh, Madame Souluche, she knows. We aren't the only ones that she has helped. How could this have been happening in her own home? And her mother never said a word to her about it. Your mother made me promise that I would never come to your room again while you were there. I don't understand. It put you in great danger to know about me. She was protecting you." Monique started to say more, but it sounded like footsteps echoing upstairs. Could Marcel have heard them? "Vite, vite, Monique." Severine pushed her up out of the hidden room. "But when will I see you again?" Monique whispered as the door closed over the top of her new friend. The next morning at breakfast, Monique didn't know what to say to her mother. Somehow she seemed mysterious, but she chatted to Monique cheerfully as always. "Go to your garden, my sweet child, and cut some of your beautiful flowers for our table, won't you?" Monique skipped out of the kitchen doors into her garden with Panouf, trotting after her. Panouf was playing with the petals of the flowers as Monique cut them and put them into the basket, when all at once the cat crouched and made herself flat against the edge. Her eyes were ablaze. Then Monique saw why. A papillon, a butterfly, fluttered from flower to flower. As it landed on a bright blue iris near the wall, Monique gathered Panouf into her lap. "No, ma petite, just look. See how beautiful?" They both sat quietly as they watched the butterfly together. Suddenly, the air grew still and heavy. The birds in the garden stopped singing. Panouf hid herself in the folds of Monique's apron. Monique looked over the wall and saw tall, shiny boots. Her heart leaped in her chest. 3 Nazi soldiers glared at her. One reached over the wall and took the butterfly in his leather-covered fist. "Jolie n'est pas." He grinned at Monique, then squeezed his fist. The other tall boots laughed. They mumbled something and walked away. And what he said in French was, "Pretty, isn't it?" So why do you think he grabbed the butterfly? "Maman, maman, tall boots!" Monique shrieked as she ran into the house and blurted out what had happened in the garden. "Sacre bleu, those monsters!" her mother grumbled as she held her child as close as she could. "Maman," Monique finally sobbed. "Did they do to Monsieur Marx what they did to the butterfly?" Her mother did not answer. She rocked Monique gently and stared out the window, but Monique had her answer. Now she understood the sadness in Severine's eyes, the fear that was in the eyes of her neighbors and friends whenever the Nazi soldiers came close. She knew now she had to protect her friend. At all cost, she had to keep the secret that lived in her basement. And what is that secret that lives in her basement? From that time on, Severine came to Monique's room as often as she could without waking her own parents or Monique's mother. Marcel could never know. When the girls were together, they played dress-up and had midnight tea parties. They laughed and giggled and told each other their dreams. Monique collected things from the outside world for Severine to see and feel and touch. "What did you bring me tonight?" Severine asked softly one night. Monique reached into a small cloth bag and sprinkled rich black earth into Severine's hands. "This smells like the air outside. Monique told her. Then she handed Sabrine a bright flower from the garden. This will be your sunshine. And now close your eyes. Monique slowly opened her cupped hands. Look. It was a glorious butterfly. A papillion, Sabrine whispered in wonder. Monique put the butterfly near Sabrine's cheek. Let its wings flutter, Monique whispered. Sabrine caught her breath and smiled. Like the kiss of an angel, Monique said softly. So I wonder how she got the butterfly from outside into her room. And it wasn't killed. Tears began to fill Sabrine's eyes and roll down her cheeks. I miss my home, Monique, my own bed, my own kitty, my garden. The Nazis won't be here forever. Maman says that they will lose this war, Monique reassured her. At our home, Sabrine went on, we celebrate Shabbat, the holidays, Passover, Hanukkah. My mother cooked for days. Family came from everywhere. Then it all changed. We had to leave. My parents were afraid that the Nazis would kill us. You'll be home someday, you'll see. Papa is so sick from breathing damp air. He hasn't seen sunlight for months. Maman has to cover his mouth with a pillow so that his coughing can't be heard upstairs. I promise, Sabrine, someday you'll be as free as that papillion. Let it fly now, Monique, Sabrine said. When it flies, it will be as if Papa and Maman and I are flying away. The girls took the butterfly to open up the bedroom window, and threw it into the night air, then stood and watched it until they couldn't see it anymore. All of a sudden they looked up. For what reason, who knew? They saw Monsieur Lindormy, the man next door, looking right at them from his window across the courtyard. Monique's heart leapt in her chest. Sabrine slid down under the windowsill so that Monsieur Lindormy couldn't see her. The girls looked at each other in sheer terror. They knew they had to tell Marcel. They ran to her room and awoke her. She was startled to see the two of them together. When they told her about their secret meetings in Monsieur Lindormy, Marcel sank to her knees in front of him. Mon Dieu, she said mournfully as she rocked with tears. Are you angry, Madame Solange? Sabrine asked as she began to cry. Oh no, ma petite, no, of course not. I am not angry. You are a little girl. You didn't ask for this war, or to be kept in my cellar. You needed to play. Children need other children. Marcel smoothed her hair. But you are no longer safe here, my dear. We must leave home tonight. Marcel began to pull on her clothes. We need to get you and your family out of the country. Let me see. Pierre Veloud will take your parents to the next refuge. You will travel with Monique and me. Yes, hurry, petites. Put on as many clothes as you can. Dress in layers. We can't carry valises or we will attract attention. So in other words, they cannot carry. What do you think? The girls watched as Marcel, Pierre Veloud, and Sabrine's parents dug holes in the cellar floors and buried everything that would look like someone had lived there. Then it was time for them all to leave. Her parents came out dressed as a nun and priest. They both cried as they held Sabrine and said their goodbyes. They would next meet in a village in southern France near the Swiss border. God be with us this night, Pierre prayed. Adoni, Yei, Atana, Hala. Sabrine's father prayed as he cried, God will be with us tonight. It seemed that Monique, Sabrine, and Marcel had walked for miles in darkness, through black alleys, avoiding street lamps, taking great care to be as quiet as it was possible to be. With the first light of dawn, they had reached the countryside. They stopped to rest under a grove of trees, close to their rendezvous with the people who would take Sabrine to her parents. Marcel had just given the girls some bread and cheese when she pulled them both into a ditch. She motioned for them to be still and quiet. A patrol car full of Nazi soldiers slowly drove by on the country road. After the car passed, the three sat without speaking.